Welcome back to HIM tutorials as microorganisms chapter we are doing, and now we are going to do the subtopic nitrogen cycle in this chapter. And for today our learning objective is a brief discussion about the nutrient cycle, and second is we will just have an introduction to nitrogen cycle with the basic 5 steps. So without delay, let's begin. Nutrient cycle is also called as biogeochemical cycle. Biogeochemical cycle. Now this biogeochemical word is combination of 3 things. Bio means living organisms. Geo means things which are related to earth like air, water, soil. They are natural non-living things. And chemical means elements. As we know that there are 118 elements present on the earth's surface. And cycle word means that all the 3 components, all the living organisms, geological components and the elements, when they combine together, they will just circulate in the environment, from living to environment, environment to living thing. This type of cycle is called as biogeochemical cycle. As in biogeochemical cycle, the nutrients, like nutrient, you know that nutrient means food which we eat. So the food which we are eating animals, we are eating plants. How plants will make their food? From simple or inorganic compounds. Simple inorganic compounds like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, sulfur. So these all things are the simple inorganic things. From these simple inorganic things, the plant will synthesize in their own body, that is called as food. And that food is formed with the help of process called as photosynthesis. Now these plants are eaten up by the animals, and plants and animals both are eaten up by the humans. Now all the 3, plants plus animals plus humans, when they die, their body is eaten up by the bacteria and decomposed by the bacteria, and again the complex food, the complex form of our body changes to the simple form. So we had started from where? From the simple form, and then the complex form is formed, and then again the simple form is formed. And this simple form, these simple elements are again taken up by the plants. Then from the plant they are taken up by the animals, and both plant and animals are eaten up by the humans, and all the 3, when they die out, their body is decomposed and that complex body is changed into the simple form. So this is about the biogeochemical cycle. Biogeochemical cycle is of number of types, as it is also called as nutrient cycle. So nutrients which are very much important for the growth of our body, like oxygen, carbon, nitrogen. Oxygen is somewhat we can easily have in our body with the help of respiratory system. Carbon is also important, but carbon is not favorable gas for us. That is taken up by the plants. Plants with the help of carbon undergo the photosynthesis, and then that carbon changes itself into carbohydrates, and that carbohydrates we are taking in our body. Now the third component which I am talking about is nitrogen. If you look at the atmospheric concentration, then our atmosphere is made up of 78% of nitrogen, as 78% of the atmosphere is having one gas, that is nitrogen. 21% is of oxygen, and rest which is left, that is having with number of traces of elements in it. in gaseous form also and other things also. So this nitrogen comprises 78% of the Earth atmosphere, and this nitrogen is very important for the growth of our body, because with the help of this nitrogen, the proteins, bodybuilding food which is called as, the proteins are formed, then amino acids are formed, then nucleic acids are formed, then some vitamins are also formed, and in case of plants, chlorophyll, which is the backbone of the photosynthesis, that is formed. So now you see that how much nitrogen is important for our body, because nitrogen is not only just a element, but it is the building block of our body. How? Because number of things that are formed with the help of nitrogen. But there is one problem with our body, or problem with the plant body, that we can't directly use the nitrogen from the atmosphere. Firstly, this nitrogen should be fixed by the plants, then they are taken up by the animals, then plants and animals decay, and again that decay part, when comes over, they again changes the complex form to the simple form, and that simple form again comes back to the atmosphere. So now I am going to make a rough diagram of the cycle, that what we are actually going to learn in this nitrogen cycle, which is also called as nitrogen metabolism. In nitrogen cycle, as we know that the atmosphere is having 78% of nitrogen. Now this atmospheric nitrogen we can't use, so it has to be changed into some usable forms, as the atmospheric nitrogen is changed into three types of usable nitrogen compounds, as ammonia, which is used in form of ammoniumine, nitrite and nitrate. All the three are the usable form of the nitrogen, or you can say that all the three are the nitrogenous compounds. As our body can't, and plant's body or animal's body can't use nitrogen directly, but they can use these nitrogenous compounds. So to convert atmospheric nitrogen into the nitrogenous compounds, there are three basic steps, and these three basic steps are in form of fixation, which is called as nitrogen fixation. So in three forms, the atmospheric nitrogen is fixed into nitrogenous compounds. First is atmospheric nitrogen fixation. Second is biological nitrogen fixation, and the third one is industrial nitrogen fixation. Now what is going on? Nitrogen is fixed from the atmosphere with the help of these three methods into the nitrogenous compounds. Now these nitrogenous compounds are taken up by the plants. Now these plants are being eaten up by the animals. Now plants and animals both, when they die, then their body decay by the action of microorganisms. And at that time, when the plants and animals body decay with the help of microorganisms, they again changed back into the ammonia. So this process in which the plants and animals complex form is again changed back into the simple form, this process is called as ammonification. Also, the animals are excreting the excretory products. Waste is coming out from their body, and that waste is in form of urea. So this urea is also a waste product, and later on this urea is also converted back into the ammonia. So it is also the process of ammonification. Now this ammonia, nitrite and nitrate are the nitrogenous compounds. In this form, when the atmospheric nitrogen converts, it was used by the plants. Later on, plants and animals die, and ammonification process again goes on, and it will change the complex form of the body into the nitrogenous compounds. Now these nitrogenous compounds, they will again broke down and release the free nitrogen, molecular nitrogen into the atmosphere with the help of process called as denitrification. And denitrification is going on with the help of bacteria, that is called as denitrifying bacteria. So this is a simple outline of the, or you can say introduction of the nitrogen cycle. That what is going on, atmospheric nitrogen, which is 78% in the atmosphere. In some books you might got 79% also. So up to 78% of nitrogen is present in the atmosphere, but we can't use that nitrogen in our body. So how? With the help of how we are going to fix that nitrogen? With the help of process called as nitrogen fixation. So nitrogen fixation can be of three types: atmospheric nitrogen fixation, biological nitrogen fixation, and industrial nitrogen fixation. By all the three processes of nitrogen fixation, the nitrogenous compounds are formed in form of ammonia, as ammonium ion is used, nitrite and nitrate. Now these three forms are used by the plants. Now the plants will synthesize many type of proteins, amino acids, nucleic acids in their body, and they are eaten up by the animals. Now both the plants and animals, when they die out, their body starts decaying with the help of action of microorganisms, many kind of bacteria, and then the bacteria will change the complex form of the body into the simple form again, into the ammonium ions. Now, or you can say ammonia. Now this ammonia or nitrite or nitrate which is present, because all the nitrogenous compounds are not used up by the plants, because plants are in number, they are in 100,000 and many in number, so they are not using all the nitrogenous compounds. Some nitrogenous compounds are they are present as such in the soil. So what is happening there? The bacteria, denitrifying bacteria, will change the nitrogenous compounds into the free nitrogen under the process called as denitrification. So this is just an outline. So what are the basic 5 steps we will learn in the nitrogen cycle? The basic 5 steps are, first is, in nitrogen cycle we are doing, or we are going to learn the 5 basic steps, and they are, first is nitrogen fixation. It is in 3 forms: atmospheric nitrogen fixation, or industrial nitrogen fixation, or biological nitrogen fixation. Second process is nitrogen assimilation. Third step is ammonification. Fourth step is nitrification. And the last step is denitrification. So this is all about the introduction of the nitrogen cycle. Basic 5 steps we are going to discuss in our coming lectures as nitrogen fixation, 3 types, then nitrogen assimilation, ammonification, nitrification and denitrification. So I hope you understood our first learning objective, that is the nutrient cycle. That what is nutrient cycle? It is a biogeochemical cycle, the circulating of the nutrients from the non-living to living, then again back to the non-living. So this nutrient cycle is going on. They are also called as biogeochemical cycles. And the nutrient cycle which we are going to discuss, that is of the nitrogen. So I hope you understand all the things very finely, and in our next video we are just going to discuss about the nitrogen fixation through atmosphere, through industrial and then the biological. Up to then, keep watching. Thank you.